Hari Hari Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoive Ahuti Kabehama Ujabose Yugala Piriti Goranga Polite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite nai Yane babe nira Rupa Oranga bolite habe Pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite nai Yane babe nira Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahu Mora Asha Pratana Koyo Sada Naratamara Nasapade Rahomora Patana Kroye Sada Narothamadasa Goranga Polite Habe Pulakasharira Hari Hari Bolite Nai Yane Bhabe Nira Goranga Bolite Habe Pulakasharira Hare Hare Bolite Nai Yane Babinira Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Hare Rama Sankirtanam ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Gau Premanandi. All glories to the seven devotees. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Pastachade Shatarne Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Veta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda Beginning of chapter? Yes. Hare Krishna. We need the French translation, I think. Is it correct? You okay with English? Brendan? Anglais? Okay? D'accord? Otherwise, well, you can decide. You are both from France? Very good. Thank you for coming this morning and joining us in many things may be new, I don't know. Have you been to a Hare Krishna temple before? No. First time? Amazing, huh? Wow. Wonderful. So today we're reading from a very not so well-known book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was written in Bengali around about 500 years ago. And it describes a form of Krishna known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's said even in ancient scriptures there is mention of his coming in this age that we are in a hidden form. He comes like a devotee, like someone who's practicing almost, at least immersed, absorbed in devotion to Krishna in the highest level, to inspire us and show in this age that we are in how one can awaken our full, not just our realization, self-realization, but much deeper. How we can awaken the fulfillment, the completeness of our loving propensity. Every living entity, no matter what body we're in, has a loving propensity towards themselves, towards others. We're searching to completely fulfill that natural characteristic of the soul. We're looking in the material world, and that's the nature of this world, to experience that in relationship to others, in all species of life to some degree, fully blossomed, you could say, in the human form of life. But there's even a higher form of love. Spiritual love. Love for our origin. Love for Krishna. Aham. That's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. From me, everything comes. Mataksagam pravartate iti matva bhavan bhajanti mam buddhabhava samanvitaha. Krishna explains that everything, we, all living entities, everything in creation, comes from Him. It's just a spark of His splendor. When we see something very beautiful, splendorous, attractive, qualities of a person, nice qualities, we may be attracted depending on our own condition. But attraction is there because it's there in the Supreme Person, the most lovable person, full of all lovable qualities. We're attracted by qualities in an object, in a person, whatever it may be, qualities. So those qualities of the soul, each of us has those divine qualities. They just have to be uncovered. And Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, has appeared to make this a little easier. It's not easy when we're living in the world surrounded by all varieties of materialism and various self-centered philosophies also, to find one's way through the jungle to the clearing, or rise above the clouds of materialism, self-centeredness, and all the consequent results of that in terms of lust and greed and envy and anger, madness, and so many accompanying unwanted characteristics. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it a lot easier, in fact. Simply, even we may not be able to follow very strictly the mode of goodness, we may not be able to meditate very concentratedly, and then on what we meditate is another thing. We may not be able to perform very many severe, strict austerities which are given in scriptures to detach us from bodily or material consciousness and bring us to the spiritual consciousness. And so on. In this age that we're in, it's said that this age is Kaler doshanade rajan asti heka mahangunat kirtanadeva Krishna mukta sangha parambrajat. And in this age that we're in, spiritually, materially also, there are so many faults, so many deviations, so many disturbances. But there is ekamahanguna, one good quality in this age, kirtanad eva krishnasya, that by the chanting of the holy names one can attain all perfection. Very simple in Kali Yuga. It's called the Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma means the spiritual practice which is effective for that particular age. And that is the simple chanting of this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to read a little verse here from this wonderful presentation. It's a very large volume. This is only one of 17 volumes. We have a long way to go. And it's the characteristic, literal meaning, the characteristic of the living entity in his eternal constitutional nature. Our actual constitutional nature of being, experiencing bliss. Chaitanya Charitam Amrita. This nectar, Amrit. The living entity experiences when we are freed of the effects of the material nature. The soul, there are different levels of bliss which can be experienced. The highest level of blissful exchange, Anandamaya Bhyasad, is in relationship with the Supreme, all blissful personality. So this Lord Chaitanya is making this available, or possible, appropriate practice for this age. Other things may be there, but this is the essential practice which counteracts iti shodashakam nam kalikamashanashanam, counteracts the effects of this age, which is very challenging spiritually speaking, and materially also very, who knows where it's going. It's a difficult age in that sense, very materialistic. So this chanting of Hare Krishna counteracts it in the sense that it helps us to become a little immune from the effects and attracted. It's one thing to become free of the effects, it's another thing, what next? As Krishna himself says, that we Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya de nirvasavajam rasopyasya param drishtva. Nivartate, Sanskrit, these are Sanskrit verses, which describe how we have to develop another taste. It's not enough just to become detached. That is part of it, but that's not enough. By nature, the soul has this loving tendency which has to be reposed somewhere. And we're trying to repose it in the material world, and because the nature of this world is temporary, temporary in the sense of the forms are temporary. The nature of the energy is eternal, but the forms which are manifested, which we become attached to, are temporary. Even the mentality which we become attached to is always changing. But therefore there's always ups and downs, frustrations, lamentations, distress and happiness, are always changing in this world. But there's a permanent state of happiness, and that's when the soul is situated in his spiritual position. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving that chance. So we'll read the first verse, which I think is Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. Is that on the board? Mm-hmm. All together. Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. Balo Piyada Nugrahat. Tarenana Matagraha. Vyaptang Siddhanta Sagaram. Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. Balopiya Danugrahat. Tarenana Matagraha. Vyaptang Siddhanta Sagaram. Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. Balopiya Danugrahat. Tarenana Matagraha. Vyaptang Siddhanta Sagaram. Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. Anugrahat. Tarenana Matagraha. Vyaptang Siddhanta Sagaram. Balopiya Danugrahat. Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram.
Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Vande.
Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande.
Palopiyat Anugraha.
Palopiyad Anugrahat. Tarenana Matagraha.
Yaptam Siddhanta Sagaram.
Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. Anyone else like to chant? Okay. Sri Chaitanya Prabhum, word for word. To Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vande, I offer obeisances. Balaha, an ignorant child. Api, even, yat, of whom, anugrahat, by the mercy, taret, may cross over, nana, various, mata, of theories, graha, the crocodiles, vyaptam, filled with, siddhanta, of conclusions, sagaram, the ocean. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Our spiritual master of our movement here, you see, his name is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, came to the Western world, means this part of the world, from India in 1965, came to America first, because that's where the boat went. And he came with no money. He had 40 rupees to his name. And he arrived in New York in 65, September. And he'd begun to translate some ancient scriptures into English with the intention of sharing this with the all languages eventually, but initially with the English-speaking world. He translated into French also, later on, German, French, Italian, Spanish, all languages, Chinese, Russian, etc. And but he came to New York alone, with no support from India at all, and just tried to spread this mission, his teachings, in America. And for a long time means nearly a year, there was very little serious interaction. People come, listen, he go, try, staying in one place after the next, not knowing where next to stay. And then eventually, by Krishna's merciful arrangement, young people became a little serious, and he got a little place to preach or to share Krishna consciousness with others in New York. And simultaneously he was translating these ancient scriptures into English. And over the next 10 years, from 1966 to 1977, the beginning of 77, or in 77, he translated volumes this size, around about 70 different volumes of books into English from Sanskrit with commentaries, as well as traveling extensively, answering tens of thousands of letters, giving tens of thousands of lectures, twice a day in many occasions, over those period of 11 years, and so many darshans, many meetings with people, and inspiring this movement all over the world. More or less, you could say at the age of 70 to 82, 81, 82, is an impossible task for an ordinary being to achieve this in that period of time. But now he's left this for us. So this is one of these wonderful literatures which he gave us. So the translation of this verse: I offer my obeisances, my respects, my homages to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusive truth which is full of the crocodiles of various theories. We see in the world today there are so many different philosophies, different labeled at least, religions and practices. So many, there's a multitude of different choices are there. Purport: by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an inexperienced boy with no educational culture can be saved from the ocean of nescience or ignorance, which is full of various types of philosophical doctrines that are like dangerous aquatic animals. This material was likened to an ocean. One's trying to swim in this ocean, and then there are many dangerous sharks and creatures in the ocean which are, we can easily get swallowed up by very easily. Especially if you go to India, sometimes it's like almost everyone has got their own philosophy. People do follow others, but there are so many different philosophies. They all look nice and somewhat connected to something, but it's just confusion, a lot of confusion in people's minds. Even in religions, everyone claims this one, that one, and sometimes becomes a little mundane, to say the least, materialistic. But how to rise above this? So whatever we're doing, whatever our situation is, the recommendation is to simply Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, Kalona steva nasteva nasteva gatiranyata. In the Puranic scriptures, it is described, ancient scriptures, that Harinam, the chanting of the holy names in this age, is the only effective method. Very simple. Whatever we're doing in life, we can chant. Anyone can chant. Even a dog. Prabhupada, our spiritual master, says even dogs can chant. And they take part at least. Anyone can chant. Child, anyone from any condition of life, just simply vibrate the holy name. It's a mantra consisting of the holy names of the Supreme Person, which purifies us. We chanted a little verse earlier on, the devotees chanted. It's from a prayer called the Sikshastakam, and there it states, Cheto Darpanam Majnam Bhava Mahadavagni Nivarpanam. That this chanting cleanses our consciousness. It's very simple. You don't have to be a big scholar. We don't have to be born in a certain situation. It doesn't matter what gender we are, what age we are. All these things are external. This chanting of the holy name will help us to become freed of these external designations. It's not that the holy name is a thing that we use. It is actually Krishna himself appearing in this world to give his association in this simple way. It is by association that we become what we are thinking we are now. Over many lifetimes we've been associating with the material energy, with living entities within it, and developing various desires, different attachments, different types of perceptions, conceptions, etc. And it's by association. So, but getting this opportunity, when we're in the material consciousness, just merely having a process of adjusting the material world in a more favorable way does not actually help us to rise above it, because the process is still of this world. One has to associate with that which is beyond this world if we want to become actually freed of the effects of this material world. So Lord Chaitanya has kindly spread this opportunity to all of us by dancing and singing the transcendental names. They're not of this world. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. The names of Krishna are imbued or contain all varieties of transcendental relationships all varieties of transcendental blissful exchanges are manifest in the presence of chanting the holy names. Of course, we may be chanting with a covered mind, but gradually in association with the chanting, our mind and consequently our consciousness becomes purified step by step as we association. We can all experience that by association in this world. Changes take place, good or bad. So when we associate with a transcendental sound vibration, our hearts become purified. And the more we associate, the more chance there is that we'll become purified. So today, devotees are going, right, saying on the street. This is one of our rare, you don't see very often this, but very special features of the Hare Krishna movement. Maybe more than anything else, the Hare Krishna movement is famous for this. On the streets all over the world practically, chanting Hare Krishna, dancing and chanting. What a nice activity, and especially 3 months or whatever of lockdown, and many people have been restrained in their normal activities, materially speaking, and it's quite frustrating for many. And even when they're not locked down, there can be many frustrations and, build up of in the heart, stress and so on. And then maybe they get drunk and drink something to try to release the, whatever. And then maybe they dance and sing, and maybe you have to go somewhere to dance and sing. You don't have to, but people do. Concerts, festivals, etc., paying money usually. But here's an opportunity to satisfy all of these hankerings, needs of the living entity, just simply dancing and singing. It's transcendental, magic, you could say. I feel such satisfaction, and everyone gets benefited. Everyone on the street. Releases us of our false ego. Oh, what will people think of me? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. It's all these things are restricting the soul. We've got to become free of these restrictions. Like we're bound up over many lifetimes of conditioning. We're bound up by certain ideas and certain attachments and so on, to be released from this bondage of material existence. The Sankirtan, the chanting Sankirtan, this word you may hear it, it means congregation, or together we chant the names. It's the most ecstatic process. It's not just a process of self-realization, it's an ecstatic process of self-realization. Even at our stage, we experience such happiness in chanting. And that may not be the goal in one sense, but that automatically takes place when we absorb ourselves in the association, particularly of others, chanting, sharing, inspiring each other. So we encourage, or we invite, whatever, everyone who's free, please join this afternoon. They're going to the city, tours. It's a very beautiful, nice city, and people are nice, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on a night, hopefully a sunny day. I don't know what the weather will be like this afternoon. Who cares? The holy name will bring light even in darkness, bring happiness even in distress. So please join us if you can. By the mercy of the Supreme Person, we read that, didn't we? The philosophy of the Buddha, the argumentative presentations of the jnanis, or those searching for knowledge, the yoga systems of Patanjali and Gautama, and the systems of philosophers like Kanada, Kapila and Dattatreya, dangerous creatures in the ocean of nescience. Of course, they've come to teach these things. It's not that they're dangerous. They're forms of the Lord sometimes. They're empowered to teach various philosophies in many cases to fulfill the various diverted or independent desires of the living entities in this world. But ultimately speaking, they may come originally from the Supreme Lord, but he's satisfying or fulfilling, providing various philosophies for different living entities who want to see things in such and such a way. It's quite an interesting science, and how to see out of that. As long as we're seeing ourselves in the center and trying to manipulate this world, then we are still encased, or we're still bound up in this world. Maybe in a nicer way, maybe in a more self-contented way, but we're still within the framework of the material energy. To get released from this world is not as easy as just employing a very self-satisfying philosophy. One has to rise above that. By the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can have real understanding of the essence of knowledge by avoiding these sectarian views and accepting the lotus feet of Krishna as the ultimate goal of life. Let us all worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his gracious mercy to the conditioned souls. Most philosophies are based upon a material conditioning or a material situation, and meant for raising us up, but they're based on material factors. They're external, based on one's. Yes, we see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives various paths for self-realization or detachment from this world or whatever it is. But his final conclusion is okay, they may help if properly followed to a certain extent. Just nowadays we have many sort of religious designations in the world too. Mostly people are not following, but some concepts are there, some ideas are there. But generally speaking, they only take us so far. They don't touch the highest object of spiritual life. They may indicate, they may be pious, they may be living a life in the mode of goodness, they may be helping us to understand we're not this body, they may be helping us to, ultimately some of these paths may even lead to a touch of our eternal spiritual existence. But to actually fulfill, complete, they're not complete, they're giving something maybe in their pure state, but not the complete. The complete is when the living entity is fully in their full, eternal, natural situation, manifesting all characteristics of loving exchange with the Supreme Lord. So this teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it captures all the other. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vedesha yagyeshu tapasa kaiva danesha yat punya palam padishtam, that one who takes to this path of, it's called bhakti, devotion, loving devotion, bhakti yoga. One who takes to this path, all the results obtained from all the other paths are automatically contained. One doesn't have to make a separate endeavor. Everything's there, because the goal of all paths, the goal of everything should be, it may not be, but it should be to attain the highest perfection, spiritual self-realization, completeness, spiritual completeness, love of God. There should be the highest objective goal, not just some sentiment, but living reality, highest goal. So if that's obtained, that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains again and again, only through devotion, bhakti-mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tattvata. Through devotional service only I can be fully understood. Why? Because that is what attracts the Lord. And He reveals Himself as they practice or surrender. The Lord reveals Himself accordingly through the practice of devotional service. Otherwise we get some material understanding, cosmic understanding, impersonal understanding, sectarian understanding, false understanding, whatever it may be, but not a complete understanding. It's only by the mercy of the complete personality of Godhead that we can get that complete understanding. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that is through the process of bhakti yoga or devotional service. Many paths are given of different types of yoga, different types of religious practices and philosophy, Sankhya yoga, Ashtanga yoga, different yogas are explained, Jnana yoga, Karma yoga, Dhyana yoga, all there, given by different great teachers in the past. And they may have some step, but we have to go beyond that, rise above the modes of nature, transcendental. So of all yogis, Krishna says, yoginam api sarvesham magaten antaratmanaha shvadavan. That those who have this firm faith in the devotional path, they're the highest of all yogis, because they're connecting with the Supreme Person. Even in this world, seeing how everything is connected, how we're all connected, every living entity is connected. Ultimately, we're just covered over right now. But potentially every living entity has this capacity. It's just a matter of awakening it. It's already there, like we're sleeping. It's not a matter of adjusting the dream. It's a matter of awaking, waking up. And then naturally we can see. In the morning when the sun rises, you can see things clearly. At night it's vague, very vague. So the material world is a little like that. It's very vague, very cloudy. We move even with clouds in the sky. If we rise above the clouds, everything is clear. There's no more clouds. There's no more darkness. So I like that. Krishna Surya Maya Haya Andhakar. Krishna is like the sun, and Maya, the material energy, is like the darkness. In the presence of Krishna, darkness is dissipated. In the presence of sun, there cannot be darkness. It's only when the block is there. So we're kind of blocked right now. We're in the shadow, in the dark, whatever it is. And slowly, different process may give us like a little torchlight, a little idea. But ultimately we have to rise above that, transcend it, not become attached to the process, material processes, so to speak. They may be means to an end, but the ultimate end, what is the goal? Sadhya, what is the goal? So the chanting of this Mahamantra is both described as sadhana, practice, and sadhya, goal, because fully the Lord is present there in the sound vibration. Golokara prema dana harinama sankirtanam. This chanting has come from the spiritual realm, Goloka prema dana, where highest love. Mahamantra has appeared in this world. Krishna has appeared in this form. So we can associate, even though we're materialistically, whatever we are, we're all different. Whatever we are, we can all associate with a Mahamantra. It's so nice. Opportunity. As we like to associate with people we have something in common with, someone we share things with, live our lives with, it's natural. And we can also live our lives in the association of Krishna. That's the most complete, fulfilling opportunity for us all. We just have to take advantage of it. So this, now we're just beginning here. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this chance to associate with Krishna, and all desires are fulfilled. There's no need for any other, this or that. Sometimes people would say, well, don't you read anything else? What about Lobsang? Well, you probably never heard him. Lobsang Rampa. When we were teenagers, a couple of years ago, we used to read books like Lobsang Rampa, a Tibetan Book of the Dead, and Autobiography of a Yogi, and Be Here Now, and all kinds of different books, which were like, a little exciting for the mind, and maybe a little something or another there. But each one a little different. But people say, well, don't you read these things? Well, when not the kind of material example, but when you got $1 million, you don't need to worry about the $10 or the $100, euros, whatever. You got, got complete. Everything is there in bhakti, in devotional service. All the results. One of the verses I read in Gita, I remember Bhagavad Gita, Yavan arta udapane sarvatak samplaktoda. All purposes that are served by a small pond are served by the great, or automatically found in the great reservoir. Therefore, one who knows the purpose behind the Vedic literatures, everything, he knows everything. You don't need to study. The purpose of all these practices of yoga, of religion, of philosophy, of austerities, etc., is to realize the absolute truth. So if one's already associating with the absolute truth, there's no need of doing all these things. What's the point? The point is to be absorbed or to come to the absolute truth. So Lord Chaitanya is making a shortcut method, very simple for Kali Yuga, because we're not very capable of performing these other processes, effectively speaking, in this age. Very difficult. This is very easy. Make that which is very, very difficult, very, very easy. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I've got 2 more classes coming up this morning, so I've got to get ready. But any quick questions? Question? No. Oh, just scratching your head. It's wonderful to see you all. Thank you for coming, and we hope you have a nice stay here at New Mayapur. Please feel free to ask any questions, any problems. Sometimes we don't behave very well with you, and if anyone, not their fault, it's just sometimes, we're not perfect. We all have our faults. So if there's anything, don't try not to get too worried or upset, and you can always go to one of Gandharvika or one of the older devotees and ask them, mention things. Please feel free like that. Wow. Krishna Kirtana Gyananatana. Oh, it's almost the same as the Sad Goswami Astakam too. Amazing. Okay, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Premananda, it's time for breakfast. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We want Namachara Prabhu, we have to give him a day of, at least one day off or something. I don't know.